today we're going to be talking about time management, managing your time, which is ironic considering we've already burnt 15 minutes of this lesson. Yeah. Yay. 14. I know. All right, so for this mock exam, you've got 2 hours of writing time, okay? And you've only got 15 minutes of reading time. I know, rainbow, right? So you got 15 minutes of reading. Oh, Jesus. 15 minutes of reading time. All right, so in your 15 minutes of reading time, this is what I suggest you do. So as soon as they say you can open your papers, you go to section A and you pick your question. Okay, and get your little thumbnail and go and mark which one you're going to do. Okay? Then, as soon as you've done that, that should take you what? 2 minutes? 5 minutes? Maybe. Right?
5 minutes.
Well, if you're thinking about it. Okay? Then you move straight to section C. Remember, there's no section B. So you have section A and section C. No section B. Section B is comparative, exactly, but we don't do that, so we can move straight in. So we go to section C, you do your first full read. And establish what the contention is. So by the end, so you should have established your contention, your arguments, and then whatever kind of like pools you're going to use. Now, if you're clever, you might even be able to kind of draw it with your nail a little bit and kind of go, right, this is all one argument, this is all another argument, this is all another argument.
Are we comparing?
It's not illegal.
It is.
You just accidentally.
You just like
paper.
are really scratchy.
Yeah.
You're like part cat.
Yeah.
And you can't help that.
That's
Don't be
masculinity.
prejudiced.
Yeah, because I identify as a cat.
Yeah, so like, you know,
So like,
we've all,
can't
you know,
question that.
no, I can't, and I have no intention of it.
yeah,
Alright,
exactly.
so, after that,
This is this comparing as well. Are we comparing?
No.
So just analysis.
yeah, just analysis. Right. Woohoo. How cool is that? So once we've done that, that should be our 15. You literally spend the rest of your time on this. Oh, that's terrible handwriting. See, this is why I need that writing pad, because my handwriting's too pretty for this. It is. I have really pretty handwriting. I've got very few things to toot my own horn about. One of them is handwriting.
I have one.
What? You can sing?
No, I have
Because good handwriting. I love my handwriting.
Yeah, you do. You have a right handwriting.
It's all one.
Is that you?
Connected to each other. It's like a jungle.
I don't.
So,
I will
in the 2 hours,
go to VCal.
the first hour, okay, so hour one is all about section C. Yeah. You move straight to section C. You do not look at section A at all. The reason I say that is because you've just bloody read it.
Oh, just
So like, why would you go back to section A, work for an hour on that, and then head into section C?
Yeah, that's crass.
That's dumb.
We're so
That's
stupid.
dumb, right? You got to go straight into section C.
Why has no
Okay.
one told us this?
Yeah,
I
but
know.
It's pretty obvious though.
Wow.
Can you just stop, Rick? Oh, just leave it there. It's not obvious.
Thank you.
Shut up, Daniel.
That's weird.
Everyone's a genius, Rick.
Okay, so hour one, you go straight to section C,
Even though I did it.
and you write that one. Okay, you spend, I would say, 5 minutes annotating. So writing down, you know, what the contention, the argument, the pools are. Okay, so you spend 5 minutes annotating. Then I would say it should take you about, what, 5 minutes to write your intro? Because the intros aren't like, you know, your SAC intros where you have lots of knowledge about the text. or the issue. It's just like quick. So I'd say 5 minutes for intro if you want to break it down this much. And then I would say, what do you reckon? 10 minutes per paragraph, something like that?
What? 10?
Yeah,
Whoa.
you gotta move fast, man. And you want a bit of contingency time too. You want to have like a couple of minutes contingency time up your sleeve, just in case, you know, poop hits the fan and you need to kind of change things. So let's say there's 3 paragraphs. We've already spent 10 minutes. So I reckon, yeah, maybe like 10 minutes per paragraph. 15 might be pushing it, because once you go, what, 15,
No, it's too much. That's
it's too much. Yeah, we're gonna blow over. So I reckon if you aim for 10 minutes, and you might have one that you nail in 9 minutes, and then you might have another one that you nail in 11 minutes, well, fine, you'll even out. So if you aim for 10 minutes per para,
We've got 20 minutes left.
okay, and then you've got 5 minutes to write your conclusion.
10 minutes per paragraph, then you get like maybe 1 persuasive.
1, maybe 2, yeah. You're probably only going to get 2 persuasive techniques per
And can you
paragraph.
still get a good mark
Yeah.
if you did 1?
Quality.
Quality over quantity.
I know, but like, let's say,
It's not ideal, but it's the best case scenario. Then what was I doing? 5 minutes for conclusion. Yeah.
what's the potential like best case scenario result like from doing 1 per paragraph?
I don't know. I can't say that because I mark it on the quality of the work,
Like,
not
you
the
can't
quantity.
mark down-
So you could still do really, really well. You could still get like 8s and only have 1 technique per paragraph.
Right, so just,
If it's like amazing and you've like pulled it to shreds, which would mean you would have to choose your persuasive pulls very carefully. You would have to pick like something that had a lot of depth and complexity to it.
You do 1 or 2 now.
I know. Okay, so we've spent 5 minutes annotating. We've spent 5 minutes intro. That gives us 10 minutes. 10 minutes per paragraph. We've got 3 paragraphs. 5 minutes for conclusion. So we are on 45 minutes. We've got 15 minutes left. So I would say, what, 5 minutes for proofreading? Because you really need to proof these, because let's be honest, because you're writing them so quickly, there will be errors. So you've got to make sure you spend some time proofreading.
it's hard to really fix some of this stuff up because you've already written over all the paper already.
Yeah.
No, because, that's something. Hold that thought, I'll be back.
Oh, paper.
Hold that thought, I'll be back. Right. Okay, so we've spent 10, 10, 10. We've got 10 minutes left. So that gives us a 10-minute kind of leeway that I can spend wherever I need to spend it. So I might,
Look out the window.
yeah, exactly. Well, you unfortunately, you would be surprised. You will look around and there will be people that are just like,
Yeah, I do that all the time.
and you're like, are you for real?
I start looking at the clock and I get distracted because
Idiot.
I'm like, oh, we have so much time left. And I'm like,
Wrong. And I'm watching it fade away.
yeah, dead
Right.
set.
So that gives you 10 minutes leeway, which would mean that you could probably afford to spend, say, 12 minutes per paragraph. But if you kind of go to yourself, try and stick around 10 minutes, then it means that you're going to be in better stead. Like if you're kind of, and I would really suggest that you bring your own watch and just have it like sitting out here, that you actually are watching the time as you go and going, right, okay, so I'm starting this paragraph at 10 past 9, so I need to be finishing it around 20 past 9. You know, and like go, okay, so I've only got 2 more minutes, I need to start wrapping this up. And that way you're kind of ensuring that you're going to have a bit of time left over. I don't think you can bring those. Yeah, so I don't think things like iWatches, whatever. Just like a watch.
So that's
Or
just
like
the eye.
even like a digital watch is fine. You can bring a digital. It depends if it's gonna beep. it might be.
Yeah, but they have. Do they have the?
Yeah, they'll have it. They'll have clocks up. But like, if it's on your desk, you can just kind of like back and forth to it all the time. Fine, do what you want. I'm just giving you advice. You don't have to take it.
That's with how many paragraphs?
Yeah, I think that's
3. Yeah.
So like if we had 3 articles.
Yeah, so exactly. So we're gonna need to kind of build that in. Oh, battery is running low. Don't worry, I brought my
doesn't work
charger.
if there's 3 articles.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing I was gonna get to. Alright, so if you are in the scenario where you have multiple articles, obviously 3 paragraphs may not work. But as we talked about when we did that video the other day on that AIM thing the other day where we talked about condensing, we found that even with 3 articles, you could condense it down to 4 paragraphs. You could still get it down to 4 paragraphs if you had to write on 3. So all you would do is use that extra 10 minutes that we built in to kind of cover it. And that's why you want to have that little bit of extra space. Now you might find you get in there and it's only 1 article and you can do 3 paragraphs with lots of depth. Fantastic. But you may get in there and there's 3 articles that you have to look at. So you might need the extra paragraph, which is where that extra 10 minutes comes in. Okay? So that builds in a little bit of buffer for you either way. Yep.
So with the analysing argument,
Yeah.
if there's 2 articles,
Yep.
does that mean we're at 2 separate analysing arguments?
No, you write like we did with the comparison. You write the one article, the one essay, but you look at as many articles as they give you.
But how do we do that without comparing?
What do you do?
You use the comparison. You can use comparison to kind of like make it flow. It's not that you're not allowed to use comparison. It's more just you don't get marked on it. So like there's no point emphasizing it.
In the introduction, you like literally just like sort of putting 2 separate introductions into one. It doesn't have
Yeah, it'll be about the same issue.
Oh, they're about the same.
Yeah, it's about the same thing. So usually it's a main article and then a reply. Like when we looked at, you know the other day when we looked at that, the Danes and Drains.
Yeah.
We looked at Danes and Drains, and there was like the main article, and then it was like Corella DeMille and the guy with the staffy.
You can use some comparative word, like say.
Yeah, to
say
create
condense-
flow,
okay.
sure.
Alright, so
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you know what the questions we answer in the analysis?
Yeah.
Do we do those 4 questions or the 2 questions? Because I feel like they're a bit different.
So many questions. So the red ones, the red questions are for section C. The blue questions are for text response.
Oh, second.
Yeah.
Questions are so helpful.
Aren't they? They really create depth. They're good. Yeah. That's why people always steal those posters they make. I don't know why, because I just make them one if they asked. They just ask me, oh, can you print me off one? Yeah, sure, no worries. Don't keep stealing them. Just ask. If you even want it laminated, I'll laminate it for you. God, chill out. No need to commit theft. Anyway, okay. So we've got our hour 1 sorted.
Oh, no, that's just.
No, it's to help you with your explanations. Those questions are for your explanations. So you give enough depth. Yeah, in teal. Exactly. It's like teal plus.
If we had 2 analysing argument topic or whatever articles, do we have to do those? You know how we had introduction and we had the general introduction as well.
Yes.
Do we have to do them as well? Or?
If you watch that video that we did on AIM the other day, it's really important. If you haven't watched that video yet, watch it. Because I actually show you how to condense it. And basically we say, yes, you can do a general intro. If you've got multiple articles, I probably would just because I think it flows nicer, but they're lots shorter because you don't need to give as much information about the issue. And you kind of condense a lot of the stuff. So if you find that, so for most of the ones that are a multiple articles, you'll find that they have the same audience. They have very similar audiences. So you can kind of mention that in the general intro and knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. Or you might find that they both have a similar relationship. So you can kind of add that into the general intro to get it out of the way.
Okay.
Okay, but definitely watch that video because that actually will show you how to bring the content down. It's only, I think it goes in the, on the video goes for an hour, but I think that part of the video is like half an hour. So I know it's a bit of a drainer, but it will show you how to do it. It's fun. It's fun to watch me talk crap.
Yeah.
All right, so that is our hour 1. So that gets you to 10 o'clock. Okay? Then let's talk about 11 o'clock. Because
It's gonna be like
once it hits 11, I want to hear like a tidal wave of page turns. It should be like everyone stops everything at 11 o'clock. If you get to, 11 o'clock? 10 o'clock. If you get to 9:55, okay, listen carefully. If you get to 9:55 and you're not done, say you've only written your second paragraph, write a conclusion, move on. Okay? It is really important though that you write a conclusion. Even if you're not done, write a conclusion, move on. Yeah.
Awesome.
You must have a conclusion.
really. I
Yep.
thought it was
Is it
important.
that important?
Must have a conclusion.
How come last one wasn't-
Mr. Gleason's like, oh, you don't need a conclusion.
Don't listen.
Why is it funny?
Right.
Last one, no way.
So whatever paragraph you're on, finish that sentence, write a conclusion, move on. Okay? At 11 o'clock, everyone changes section. Come hell or high water. Okay? You got to leave that one behind and move on. The reason for that is because each section is scored separately. So if you decide to sacrifice one section for the other, all you do is screw yourself. And last year we had a person who decided, despite the fact that we all spoke to, all of the VCE teachers spoke to them like about this issue because they were notorious for doing it. Do not do not bite off more than you can chew. Do not stay in a section for more than the hour. Do not do it because you will do badly. They did it anyway on the exam. They missed a section. They did half of another section and they had a great section C and they had half a section A and no section B. Which what they did, so they got a E on the exam. Yep, they got an E on the exam. Yep, which sucks for them. Which then took all of his okay results throughout the year, all his sacks, pulled them down. You got a 24. He was on track. He was on track for like a 34, 35.
For an E on the exam. I was
You get an E on the exam,
expecting that.
they assume
Like
that
zero.
we have marked you wrong.
It's okay. An E is
Yeah, so they just drag that whole thing down.
Whoa.
They haven't asked for them, but it wouldn't surprise me.
They'll scale down to 23.
Mid 70s?
If I get a D on the exam, I'll get 25 and above. This is what I mean.
24. Yeah, so he missed out on uni preferences. He missed out on uni preferences.
That's a lot of.
I need to get 25 and above.
You need to get 25 and above. You didn't make it.
D on the exam, I'll still get 25.
I don't know. Maybe.
C, we'll push it to C.
Just get the best scores you can, man. Don't be like, oh.
Where's that guy getting?
All right,
What's an A in English?
80%.
I said it was 73.
It's an A plus.
An A plus is 90. Yeah. Right. Anyway.
If I get an A on the exam, I get 80.
But it works the reverse way as well. So if you smash your exams, but you've done kind of like, you've done okay in your sacks, but not awesome, it can actually pull your sacks up.
Let's face it, in English that's never good.
So, no, it does. I've had kids who have done that, who have like gotten like, 70s all year, and then they got to SWAT-FAC and they just turned into a machine and just wrote, polish. And we got to the exam, they got an A on the exam, pulled the rest of their scores up.
And what's that?
They got for English, the study score was 38.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
Good.
It just pulled everything up. Yeah.
That is bullshit.
Because they went, well, he got, on the exam, he got A plus A plus A. Yeah.
Do that? How do you get 70s all year?
They just did it. Yeah, they just worked really hard. They just would, went, right, this is my last chance. Let's.
So that's pretty much got like
I need a
all I
work
have.
ethic.
one just off perfect and they only got a 38 though.
Yeah.
That's a little bit unfair. Yeah, like 2
A 38's still good.
Yeah, but you got to think
But
like
they've got 100 other points of like 70s. So, they're not going to push them above 40. Because 40 puts you in the top, 10% in the state. And they couldn't justify that.
It's pretty weird, isn't it?
Anyway,
Imagine getting 40
so let's continue. We can talk about ranking and all that boring stuff later. Let's focus on the right now. We've spent our first hour. We got to 9:55. Come hell or high water, we wrote our conclusion. We proofread. We made sure it was the best thing that we could do under this scenario. The second hand hits us to 10 o'clock. We move. Okay, everybody moves. Then we've got our second hour. So hour 2. Oh gosh, this is why I need that writing pad.
Miss, why don't you flip your computer around? Can't you do
Because then it turns it into a tablet, which means it doesn't connect to this.
Oh.
I know. Hence why I bought this thing.
Sorry.
It's alright, it's not his fault. I didn't blame him. Oh,
Where's Coops when you need it?
I miss Coops, where is he?
Why didn't you do shitty side comments and make him feel bad about himself?
like 25 and so the ATAR really high. But they accept it's 90 teacher.
Alright, hour 2. So we spend, because you've already picked your question, all we need is 5 minutes of plan. Shh. Everyone cares about Coops. Stay focused.
Thank you. Thank you, miss.
Right.
Everyone does.
That wasn't
You're just mean though.
Mean. I'm a mean.
You're mean.
mean.
Anyway, so we do 5 minutes planning, and we should only really need that because we've probably spent, when we were doing our reading time, we kind of thought about the question. We went, oh yeah, these are the kinds of things I would do. Spend about 5 minutes planning. Okay, and then we do 5 minutes intro, which is really easy when it comes down to a text response because, they're very short and sweet. They're like 2 sentences, so that should be fine. Okay, then we stick to the same formula. Try and stick to 10 minutes per paragraph, which is harder with text response, I find, but try and stick to it, which would then give us 5 minutes for a conclusion, which would then give us 5 minutes for proofread, which then gives me 10 minutes.
I can't even write this fast, let alone think this fast.
Well, that's why you've got to practice, because then it's just like second nature. Yeah, that's why VCE English, the kids that do the best at it are not necessarily the best at English. They're the ones that have done this the most, and they just turn into robots on the exam, and they're just like, I have done this 1,000 times. I am just pumping this out. Yeah, exactly.
Oh god.
Alright, so that gives us 10 spare minutes. Oh. That gives us 10 spare minutes, which I can spend wherever I want. And I might find, okay, I'm working really well to time. I get to like the halfway mark, like I get to like 30. I get to like half past and I'm like, okay, I'm doing okay. I'm going to just put a little bit more emphasis on, my second point, or I'm just going to try and add a little bit here, or I'm going to do whatever. You should. You might choose to use it, in that regard. So I think you could probably push these 10 minutes per paragraph out a little bit if you wanted to like 12, 13. But it's good to kind of like at the 10-minute mark start going, I need to wrap this up. I need to wrap it up. I can't stay on this forever. So you can probably take that out a little bit, but I think it's always good to kind of go, I'm aiming for 10 minutes. I'm aiming for that, and that's a really good kind of plan to have, particularly if you might feel like you need to come back to this. That you might need to just kind of polish that up a little bit. That you go, okay, well, I'm only going to stick to my 10-minute plan. And that might mean that you only write, you know, one piece of evidence, but you destroy that piece of evidence. Okay? Any questions about that so far? No?
Oh, the interview is that 3
3 hours,
essays?
3 essays. Yeah. So you would, it's a very similar plan.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to practice. Like,
No, I know.
Sorry, Sarah's speaking. Sorry, Sarah.
would you recommend for us to practice this back to back before the practice exam?
I don't think you really need to practice like the whole 2-hour slot, but I think it's a good idea to practice, if not the hour, writing an essay in an hour, at least going, okay, let's see if I can plan in 5 minutes, 5 minutes intro, 10 minutes a paragraph. How much can I write in that 10 minutes? Is that reasonable for me? If it's not, how can I condense it to get it there? Yeah. That's what I would probably do, just because obviously time is of the essence now. We're running out of time. You don't have that many hours left. I would say a good way to practice, so when you're writing your practice pieces, to actually practice every plan you write from here on in, give yourself 5 minutes. Put 5 minutes on the clock and go, right, I've got 5 minutes. Here's the question. Go. See if I can meet that 5-minute mark and push yourself to get to there. You know, write an intro, go, all right, I've got 5 minutes to write the intro. On your marks, get set, go. Right, let's see if I can do it. No, it is. It can be. You know, and same with the 10-minute per paragraph. See if you can do it in under 10 minutes. And that's the way I would be preparing from here on in for the exam. Yeah, so that's pretty much timing, how I would recommend you use your time. The other thing that I did want to touch base with that Ty brought up was the idea of like, what if you want to add something?
Yeah.
Like, what if you've written something and you want to go back? And we talked about it a little bit because obviously we have Rick in our class, and as everybody knows, Rick no do the writing. So
I don't write in English.
yeah, he definitely writes, but in what language we're unsure. We're looking forward to finding out. So let me just find a doc that I can edit on.
They did it.
So they give you 3 chances. So they send them, so the first person will have a look, and if they can't read it, they send it on to the next person. If that can't be read, it goes to the chief examiner. If it can't be read, then it's illegible. Yeah.
But no,
Sounds like a lot of effort.
It's a lot of effort.
That sounds worth it.
And often what happens instead is that someone goes, yeah, I can pretty much make out what they're saying.
So they'll try and force it.
Yeah, they'll force something through. Yeah, that's usually what will happen instead, which is not a situation you want to be in. All right, which is why Rick needs to practice his handwriting. So, he knows. We have these conversations. All right, so let's say that this is my essay. I've just kind of grabbed a work sample. All right, and I've written this piece, and it's really, really good, but I had that extra 10 minutes at the end, and I was like, oh, I really want to put something in. All you do is you find the bit that you want to put in, and you go 1.
Whoa.
And then you go down to the bottom of where it is, and you go, oh.
Do you know what this changes everything?
It's a game changer. It's a game changer.
I didn't know this was...
Okay? And you go 1. And you go,
Yeah, what?
blah-da-doo-doo, booby da
Why am I being
da
told
That's... No, Rick's handwriting is this.
Yeah, worse.
Oh, so it's like
You
leads
join
in the
your
other
It's
way.
like an ECG. You know, like,
Yeah. It's like a heart monitor. It's like a heart monitor.
oh my god.
Oh,
All right.
I can't read it.
So...
legally safe from the pen room.
Or say if I wrote my essay and I was like, oh, this is all really good, but I don't like this. You draw a line through it. And I want to put in something else instead. And I go 2. Scroll down and go 2. Okay?
This actually no.
And you can do as many of them as you desire. Okay? What I really don't want you to do is write on top of, so you've crossed it out and then you write on top of it so I can't read it, or you cross it out and then you're like, I got the tiny writing. Yeah, because I can't bloody read it, mate. I can't read it. It's no good to me. And what I also don't want you to do is, picture this is the actual exam, right? There is a border around the exam. It looks like this. Yeah, and it says, do not write in this area. If you write in this area, it will not be scanned, and therefore it will not be... That is what I really recommend that you do. Not obviously draw the penises, but I do recommend that you use footnoting rather than trying to, squeeze it in places, because we can't read it. And ultimately, something that you think is worthy of inclusion may get ignored. Okay? So if you want to add things, just use the footnoting system. It can even be, like, if you're writing something and you get midway through a paragraph and you're like, shit, I should have put that in, then just put it, say if that was not the border, you can put it at the, in the bottom half of the page and just put a little footnote. That's fine. What I would really stress though, and not so much for this exam, but for the end of year exam, stop touching his ear.
It's stuck.
I went to uni for 4 years. I have 2 degrees.
Get stuck.
Dear Lord.
Couldn't pull it off. Oh my god.
But then I've also taught VCAL classes and spent 2 periods measuring kids' heads because they'd had an argument about whose head was bigger. So
That's so good.
so we spent a double lesson measuring the circumference of kids' heads.
That was their assignment.
Pretty much. Well, we were in because VCAL combines numeracy and literacy. So I was like, you know what, this could probably tick something off. So we made a chart of who had the biggest head. This girl called Lauren, she had a massive head. Anyway, incredible. It was incredible. It was huge. It was like 10 centimeters bigger than some other kids. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
Whoa.
And she was convinced that she had No, it was around
my God.
we were very particular. You had to go over the eyebrows. It had to be the widest part of the head. Anyway. We really thought about it. Yeah, I know. I'll probably delete this bit. So, yeah.
But not the penis bit.
Obviously not.
Oh, that's staying in.
Obviously not. So, it's really important that you do not leave, on the end of your exam this matters, on the mid-year it doesn't really, but it's good practice to get used to it. Don't leave sections blank. So I've had people submitting essays and they'll because they're I want to come back and write more later, and so they go and leave a big chunk, a big blank. So it looks like it's the end. And then what happens sometimes, not often, but sometimes, when your examiners are marking, they see this and they go, and they go, oh, there's none left. Okay, next step. Next one.
Well, you have to do thousands of
They go, next one. Yeah, so they just go, okay, so that one's done. 5, next.
So easy to stuff.
You could write
So it's really important.
Whoa, wait,
They won't scroll to the next page, yeah. It does happen. Yeah, they're doing thousands of essays.
You think it'd get annoying.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised how many kids will only write a page or half a page, yeah.
What's on another
Because there's 65,000 people doing the exam, and you still need 30% of them to get under 30. So yeah, to have a bell curve,
You can't have it
you need people to get 3 and under. So they just go,
I could take
Two.
that class.
Done. Next.
Every single person in that class.
Yeah.
They don't do it intentionally.
Yeah, where's
People
the
actually
logic?
like people stuff.
Yeah, what do you
Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to teach you the things that stuff people up. Yeah. They just kind of go, okay, so that's another person who hasn't studied. Cool. Next. Yeah.
It's not like they
Yeah.
purposely.
Just like there are people who need to score 10 out of 10. They know that there are people that will score that. And you know, so 30% of their marking will be people who write half a page. 30% of their marking.
Or for the whole
And
thing.
you won't necessarily like get 2 out of 10. Let's say the worst person. They can get 5 out of 10, but if they're the lowest ranking, then
Yeah.
they get 0.
Yeah, that's how it works. Anyway, so there are a few little tips that I'm just kind of wanting to pass on to you, just in case. The other thing I would also do is I would make clear what question I was doing on the actual piece. So I would write, even just like writing question 2. Even on the end of your exam, making it clear, question 2, you know, the longest memory. Just so that they know, okay, that's the piece you're writing on. There's no confusion.
Exams like these are meant to be
I feel you.
I can enjoy English.
Questions, queries, concerns? Yes, darling.
Can we write footnotes in like red? Or is that a
No,
prohibited colour?
write it all in blue or black. Has to be in blue and black.
So I can write footnotes in blue.
Sure.
What's footnotes?
These things, the one.
Because
That's what it's called.
differentiate between like
Yeah, sure.
They can't read red. You can't.
Yeah, you can't write in red. So you have to write.
It doesn't make you smart, it makes you look.
You have to write in blue or black pen. You cannot write in grey lead. You cannot write in red pen. Okay? Blue or black, that's it. It just doesn't pick up as well. Yeah. Particularly grey lead. Grey lead just doesn't scan as well. Well, you guys would know if you've ever seen like a scan doc.
Yeah.
You're like,
it's always lighter.
You can't see.
yeah, it just doesn't scan well. So blue or black pen, and bring a lot of pens. I had people in the mid-year exam last year who were like, my pen's run out. I'm like, you came with one? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, are you for real? What are you doing?
I feel like steal people's pens. They don't have my
Bring multiples. Bring multiple pens. Okay? You'll also need highlighters, so bring highlighters. Use your brain. Oh, and if you haven't got yourself a decent dictionary with the word zeitgeist in it, sort that out.
Yeah, I need a dictionary.
Sort it out, mate. You've got till Monday.
It's in blue. It's in white.
A dictionary.
It has the word zoo in it.
Yeah, no.
Kids dictionary.
Yeah. Zeitgeist. That's a good
It has like
test.
200 words in it.
If it's got the word zeitgeist, it's probably a decent dictionary. Okay? That's a good test for you. Okay? Also, it'll be like thick. Like thick. Not
Like
thick.
Oxford thick.
It'll be like
The big
thick.
Oxford ones.
Okay? So that's my piece of advice. If you haven't sorted out your dictionary yet, get it sorted. Boys, enough of the dirty.
No, it wasn't dirty. I mean, I don't really know how to say it. Tell him.
It's Chantal looked at me weird. Nah, nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that dirty? Like,
I don't want to think of it.
I don't know. That's right.
Joke.
Leave it. Leave it.
Yeah, I know.
Leave it.
No.
It's dead in the water. Right.
I mean, yeah, chicken. Okay, anyway.
Any other questions about timing or things that you need to have organised for Monday?
Can we
Yes.
go through quickly the structure of the analytical? So what do you want?
Yeah.
A general intro? Then
I'll show you.
intro, like-
I'll show you.
Sort of
Daniel's
analysing.
freaking out.
Yeah, because
It's
I
okay.
am writing 2 different ones.
I did it on that video in detail.
Yeah, I think she.
Yeah, she did.
I'll just wait.
This was a
Oh,
photo
no,
of
no,
you.
no, no.
Shh. I did it on that video, so you can check it out there in more detail, and I actually go through it. But to show you a quick one, I think it's here. Is that it?
That's the
No,
other
that's
one.
not it. That's the old
You
one.
sent it to us like yesterday.
I
Screen cap the
did.
video.
I took a photo of it. Oh no, I didn't. I put it in the. I took.
If you're going to send in the email, be there with
Yeah.
She doesn't even need a folder for VCal.
I didn't have. I haven't taught VCal for like
Oh, I thought
ages.
you just said you taught VCal.
Yeah, I've taught it,
Oh.
but not now.
Oh,
ages.
I don't do it now.
No.
Yeah. You know why? Because you guys are taking up my oxygen. Right. So,
aerobic system.
Yeah, dying.
Wasting your
Right,
time.
so Daniel, you asked to see this, so shut up and look.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right,
Oh,
That's
there we
fair.
go.
coming up.
Big hope.
All right, so you've got your general introduction where you do the issue, title, author, stance, if you need to mention stance, but you'll probably find that your stance and your contention you can mould and do it together, okay? Then you have your intro to Article 1, same deal, title, author, contention, audience, relationship. If you find the audience or the relationship is the same in your articles, put in your general intro. Get it done because you can talk about both of them at the same time. You can go, both of their audiences are blah, blah, blah. Done. Okay? Then address 2 arguments. Try and get it down to, if you've got like 3 articles, you've got to cover 3, get it down to 2 arguments and go, right, what are basically the 2 main things that are said? And crunch it down. And that way, all you need to do is cover 2 techniques for 2 arguments, which brings you to 4 for the first article. Okay? Then you do introduction to Article 2 and 3. So you introduce the 2 other articles, if you've got 2 others, but you might find you only have 2 articles to cover, so that's fine. But if you have 3 articles, introduce them both at the same time, and then do a paragraph that discusses the key persuasive pools in both articles. So you might just do, maybe 2 for the Article 2 and 1 for Article 3. Move
How
on.
do you do that sort of without, like, using the same paragraph? How do you do it without, like, comparing?
Well, you just go, however, someone says this. You can use comparison,
Yeah.
you just don't get marked on it.
Right.
So you can use it to create flow.
Alright, so we're not going to get, like...
You don't get points
Okay.
for it,
So
yeah.
we're not going to, like, lose marks?
No,
for,
you
like-
don't lose marks for it, but you just don't gain any.
Okay, sweet. Yeah.
Okay? And then you have your conclusion. Done.
Sweet.
Oh,
Alright, that's alright.
I know it's a killer, but that's a good way to kind of condense it.
Sweet.
Wait, so you're gonna tell us how many articles we get, or do we
No.
just get? Okay.
You sit down and you find out, just like you would for the end of your exam. Yeah. If you only have 1 article, I mean, it's winner, winner, chicken dinner, okay? Because your general intro and your Article 1 intro blend together. And then you can actually look at all the arguments that it has, and you can do 2 persuasive techniques per argument. So, I would say in an hour, you'll probably cover maybe, I would expect most people should be able to cover 6 techniques in depth, right? And you spread that 6 techniques over however many articles you have. So if you do 6 techniques in depth, and you've got 3 articles, then you only really have time to do maybe 4 for the first one and maybe 2 or 3 for the second one, the second and third one. You don't have a lot of time. They know that. Okay? And also look at how much space they give the 3 articles. So obviously, the Danes in Drains one, the boxes in boxes, Danes in Drains, that first article was 1 whole page. The second and third article were like half, maybe a quarter of a page.
So they're going to have, like, 1...
Yeah, so you're probably only going to need to talk about 1, maybe 2 persuasive techniques in each of those. They're not going to expect you to give the same depth for those as you would for Article 1. So also be guided by the actual article. Make sense?
Yep.
Any other questions? Yes, darling. Where am I up to on drafts? Excellent question. I think I'm up to Wednesday. I'm going to make that claim. I think I'm up to Wednesday.